Hello and welcome back to the Soccer Brothers Podcast. This is episode number 29. I'm your host, Sahil, and as always, I'm joined by my brother, Nihal. How you doing, Nihal?
Sahil, you know what? I'm still a little bit down after Columbus's performance yesterday in the MLS Cup final. But the holidays are just around the corner, and if you do celebrate Christmas, I highly recommend going to check out Ambitious Strike. They're a great soccer apparel company with some really, really cool clothing. If you're interested in buying their clothing for yourself or as a gift, definitely go check them out at ambitiousstrike.com. That's AMBITIOUSSTRYK.com, and use the code BROTHERS for a 15% discount on your entire purchase. As always, the link is in the description, so you can find the link there.
Yeah, definitely go.
Yeah, but overall, sad to say that the MLS season's over. Sad that the Crew lost, but we were at the match, and what an atmosphere. Let's talk about that first. What an atmosphere. The Portland Timbers away fans were amazing.
Yeah, there's always that away section for every Crew game. They always sit in that one spot, but this time they were arguably more noticeable than the Nordeca. I mean,
at least from where we were sitting, we could hear them better, and they were all over. And Portland has a great fan base. Actually, I was watching the Bucks Trailblazers game today in the NBA. I don't know if you saw that, but there were a couple of Portland fans with Timbers stuff on.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool to see. That, as much as I love Columbus and as much as I wanted them to win, I don't think there's any more deserving fan base than Portland in MLS. I mean, they are just top notch, and they bring it. The fans bring it, and they're a relatively new team, and Caleb Porter's a great coach after a down year last year. Congratulations to them. I mean, that's the first thing we have to say. Congratulations. And, I'm looking forward to see what they can do in the future, and if they can build off of this and continue to be very, very successful in the league. And I think they can.
Yeah, I mean, I think with this whole American model of sports that MLS is trying to kind of create, stay away from promotion, relegation, try to get as many teams winning the title as possible. As a neutral fan, you can't really be unhappy with Portland Timbers winning their first MLS Cup.
No. The only thing that kind of sucks was that they had to lift the trophy in an empty stadium, right?
Yeah. Well, we were there.
Well, yeah, we were there. We watched it. You have to stay. Because, I mean, we weren't only Crew fans. We also were there for the podcast, and, it's just something that we thought, well, at least you wanted to leave, but I wanted to see the trophy presentation.
Yeah, I mean, I was just kind of disheartened. I thought after that, well, we'll talk about it now, but, Columbus Crew lost at home 1-2 to the Portland Timbers.
In the MLS Cup Finals.
In the MLS Cup Final. We did mention that before.
But, I believe the 20th MLS Cup Final.
Yeah. The scoring started right away. 35 seconds in, Diego Valeri got on the end of a Steve Clark blunder. What do you have to say about that goal?
I mean, Portland's strategy throughout the match was the high press, especially in the beginning of the match, to have Columbus's players under duress. Really, it started off as a goal kick. Trapp, I think it was Trapp who passed it to Parkhurst, and then Parkhurst passed it back to Clark. Parkhurst passed it to Trapp, in a bad position, and Trapp passed it back to back to Clark. Excuse me. And he tried to let it roll onto his left foot, and Valeri closed very, very quickly and was able to put it into the net. I mean,
if you look at it from the goal or the net point of view, you can see they did get a bit of air on it, but just not enough to go over Diego Valeri's right leg.
Yeah, I mean, great job by Portland in the press there. Really caught Columbus cold, and Columbus, known for scoring goals early in matches, and they were down 2-0 quickly. We'll get to the second goal in a second, but I mean, you have to say that, wow, I mean, that was just a huge mistake, and it set the tone for the match. I think a dream start for Portland. I mean, you can't really draw it up any better. 27, I think you said 35. But anyway, like 30 seconds, the fastest goal in MLS Cup Finals history. I mean, what more can you ask for?
Do you think the fact that Clark didn't boot the ball up the field was showing that Berhalter and the crew were trying to open up and gain some possession?
Well, that's their style, right? You see it with Everton. You see it with other clubs who try to play on the ground from the back. I mean, there wasn't much of an opportunity to boot it forward, I don't think. I mean, he could have cleared it. It's difficult.
I mean, anything's better than that.
Well, yeah, but yeah, you're right. I mean, I don't really know. It's not like Steve Clark meant to do that, you know. It's.
But just the whole attitude just seemed too passive in that moment.
Well, it's the first minute, and that's where you catch teams. That's how Columbus caught the Red Bulls, right?
Yeah, in the first leg.
Yeah. So it's the first leg of the Eastern Conference Finals. You're right, though. It was a very passive attitude, and just an unfortunate error. But like I said, I think it was a great job by Portland with their press. I think that's what they wanted to do. It was luck that Clark did that, but it also kind of wasn't, because that's what Portland was trying to do, right? If not, maybe they weren't trying to exactly force a goal from Steve Clark, but force a bad pass, or force the crew out of possession, and they succeeded in that and ultimately got a goal from that. But it was a horrific start. I mean, the stadium just was in shock, absolute shock when that happened.
Yeah, that didn't help the momentum going in to the next few minutes, as we see in the 7th minute. Lucas Milano's cross into Wallace for the header, and Rodney Wallace makes it 2-0 for the Timbers.
Yeah, I mean, first we got to talk about how the ball was clearly out of bounds. I mean, I know we're Crew fans, but can anyone dispute that? I mean, that was horrific, and you can see that the linesman there, I believe his name was Corey Parker, something like that. He was looking across the field. He wasn't looking at whether the ball was out of bounds, and just an absolutely shocking call. And those are the calls you have to make. I understand referees make mistakes all the time in other leagues, but I mean, that's something that you really have got to see. And you know, maybe it brings the question: do you add another referee onto the field? I think that's something that not like a head referee, but not like.
Well, I think this was clearly an individual mistake. So I mean, I don't think you can bring rules into it that much.
I know, but you see stuff like that a lot, right? I mean, the linesman has to cover a lot. I mean, it's inexcusable. It's terrible. But, you know, Chani was trying to dribble out of bounds. It seemed to pick it up to throw it in. Nagbe kept on playing. Nagbe out to Valeri, and Valeri Milano, excuse me. Nagbe out to Milano. And just an absolute peach of a cross, you have to say. And Wallace with a great run, great finish off his head. They caught the defense napping. Afu wasn't able to stay on him. Just a great header. And then what happened afterwards is absolutely disgraceful from the Crew fans, pelting them with beer cans. I understand you're angry, but I mean, that's ridiculous. That's something that, you know, American fans, myself included, sometimes talk about separating us from, you know, other fans. When the American Outlaws travel to Central America, they get pelted with stuff. That's obviously not representative of fan bases or people as a whole. But in such a big stage, it's just ridiculous. And it's not, you know, I've been to many Crew matches, and it's not something I've ever seen before. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't give a good impression on not only fans, but just the club as a whole.
Yeah, I mean,
we heard the PA guy have to say, like, you know, don't throw things.
I mean, it's the MLS Cup final. The whole American soccer community's eyes are on you. I understand you're angry. It was a blown call. You're down 2-0 in 7 minutes, but I mean, that's inexcusable. That being said, like I said, Nagbe kept on playing. Milano with a nice cross. You got to keep on playing there, until you hear a whistle.
You can't. There's just no reason to. Okay,
there's absolutely no reason.
When you're complaining because he said the ball's in play. So why?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense to just stand there.
It's like when defenders raise their hand because they think a player's offside and stop playing. Well, that's not gonna help you. I think it's a little bit different if it's out of bounds because it's clearly out of bounds, so you stop playing, right? Which, you still have to, if you don't hear the whistle, you got to keep on playing. Heads up play by Nagby.
But even afterwards, it's like they're like doing it for pride, just standing there. I mean,
well, yeah. I mean,
it's ridiculous, but credit to how they developed the play was really took advantage of their opportunity from Portland.
Yeah.
So Crew, got a couple more chances before their next goal, took control a little bit more. And in the 18th goal, Kai Kamara...
18th minute. Sorry.
That's what I said.
You said 18th goal.
Oh. In the 18th minute, somehow Kamara got a shot past Kawarase. Very jammy, Ed.
Is that a technical term?
Yeah. That's why they listen to the podcast.
Kawarase, who's the Ghanaian national team starting goalkeeper, might add. He absolutely... I don't even know what was going on there. He went up for the ball, dropped it. Kamara came in between him and the ball, still couldn't get a handle on it. Kamara was able to actually just stand there, unchallenged, stand there for like 5 seconds, and then it was able to slot it home. And very, very lucky goal for the Crew. But, at that point, the crowd really got back into it, and you thought, wow, the Crew might go on, get a goal, get some more chances, but there really weren't any more chances for them, and that was their only shot on target in the match. It was a goal the Crew needed, and credit to Kai Kamara for being heads up and for being able to slot that home. We saw how good he was at goal scoring, being a joint top goal scorer this year with Sebastian Jovinko. But, that was just a terrible goalkeeping. Two goalkeeping errors. It was just an ugly match, Sahil. There's 2 goalkeeping errors. One of the second goal was out of bounds. It was just some really, I don't know. Yeah, it was a very ugly match.
We'll talk more about like the big picture of how this game poorly represented the league or whatever. But but at that point we saw the Crew in the first half start to take possession, but I don't think that was the Timbers' fault. I think that's kind of what they're going for. We've seen Caleb Porter change his approach so many times in the playoffs. In the first leg he goes out attacking against FC Dallas. In the second leg he switches it up but still manages to score 2 goals. And in this game, after he captures those 2 goals, they were just pretty organized. Besides that goalkeeping blunder. Yeah,
very, very organized. And I want to hit on something that you said there. Caleb Porter adapted his style of play to this situation, and it seemed like that's something that the Crew failed to do throughout the playoffs. In this match, Porter started Milano instead of Asprilla, maybe to keep up with Waylon Francis because he thought he'd do a better job with Waylon Francis on the left side there, defending. He makes the right subs. He changes the game plan. We saw him adapt late in the season, putting Nagby in the center of midfield. Columbus played one style of soccer the whole year. Especially once they got Harrison Afful, it all came up that right wing with Afful, and they really had no other options. I thought, really, Justin Miram was the only bright attacking player for the Crew in this match. And it wasn't often that I saw Kai Kamara in a good position to, take a cross. Well, we saw early on the Crew was pinched way too far inside. Finley wasn't able to use his pace. He was a non-factor. Miram was in the central of the field. And, that really is the Crew's game plan, to overload the right side. And with Finley and Afful, and Portland defended brilliantly. They knew that that's what the Crew wanted to do. And when the Crew tried to overload that right side, they had, with Kamara drifting wide, with Afful over there, and with Finley, each player was man-marked. You had Rodney Wallace guarding Afful. You had Diego Chara guarding Ethan Finley. You had Villafania coming over and guarding Kai Kamara, Villafania from left back. And then you had the center backs, Liam Ridgewell and Nat Borchers, who were so solid in the center. And I want to talk about, maybe having a DP defender is not a bad idea. I mean, it's something defending is something that's seriously lacking in this league. But that being said, the crew, Trapp, Chani, Finley, Higuain, Kamara, Afful, even Miram were all on the right side with Waylon Francis by himself on the left, and the Portland players defended it beautifully. Like I said, Valeri was on Chani, Adi was tracking Trapp, and they had possession, but they really couldn't do anything. The crew had possession, but they couldn't really do anything with it. And then on the other side, you had Lucas Milano just man-marking Waylon Francis, so that long switch was difficult. I mean, there were some opportunities we saw that the crew may have passed up to switch fields, but for the most part, Milano was on Francis, and that's and this type of defending, the crew led MLS in open play crosses. They had almost 20 a game, and in this game they had 27, but they only completed 3, which is about 11%. They led the league in cross completion percentage in 28% this year. So Portland forced bad crosses. They forced Afful to be uncomfortable on the right there. They didn't let Finley get out wide. There was besides Afful, there was no width. Francis didn't really get involved in the play. Higuain couldn't find the pockets.
I thought I saw glimpses of creativity from Higuain, but it just,
he was closed down so quickly, right? Borchers and Ridgewell were so good back there, and when it wasn't them, Chara was there too. Really, that's why we saw Higuain drop deeper and deeper into midfield, and then there was a 10-minute period or so when it was just Higuain and Trapp in midfield before Sahil came on, where he was dropping way deeper, and Higuain does his best work when he's underneath the strikers. You saw him very, very limited. It was a lot of vertical movement. He wasn't able to drift wide like Valeri. Valeri was all over the place. He was on the left side, the right side. He was putting in crosses. He's great on the counterattack. Whereas, and we have to say Valeri was the Finals MVP. I don't think we mentioned that. But on the other hand, Higuain, just vertical movement. Wasn't really able to get involved, and it's a credit to Chara and surprisingly Nagbe too. Nagbe I thought was great defensively. He made some nice tackles. He was always in position, and if he can develop that part of his game, he needs to play centrally for the U.S. But that midfield, Valeri, Chara, Nagbe is so good. And you thought maybe Trapp, Chani, and Higuain was good enough to match up with them, especially with Kamara up top. But, they weren't able to.
I think before the game, you could say that Portland can win the midfield battle, but with the width from Columbus, they can, get some crosses into Kamara, get some goals. But if Finley's a non-factor and Miram is pinching in that much and you can't win the midfield, then you can't really win the game.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And, Kamara drifting wide... we will say, apparently Kamara picked up a bruise in training. I don't think that really affected it, but maybe you could see he wasn't as active. But I just thought he drifted out wide a little too much, don't you think?
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know. Portland's defense did a great job. Villafania and Powell were always overlapping, especially Powell. But they did a great job tracking back, as did Milano and Asprilla on the right side when Milano went off, and Rodney Wallace on the left side. They were always tracking back. They were always covering the overlapping run of the fullbacks, Afful and Francis, And I thought they did a fantastic job. And credit to Portland, Caleb Porter set up this team in a manner in which they could succeed, and in a manner in which they could do very, very well. That high press worked really well. They took away passing lanes. But as I said, they were just so good. And the Columbus Crew's plan to overload that right side didn't really work. And they tried to add a little bit of spark of energy with Cedric Mabwati's substitution. At times he looked at times he looks pretty good, but I mean, still a similar game plan, right? And it seemed like the Crew just couldn't get anything going, and when they had opportunities, they couldn't get a shot on target, or it seemed like they passed it up and overcomplicated it. You'd like to see in some of those situations for them to just take a shot. Do you have anything to say about that?
Yeah. I mean, I agree. One shot on target is just unacceptable.
It's awful. I mean, like you said, Columbus had 61% of the possession. They outpassed Portland 489 to 314, but that doesn't matter. Portland were always the more dangerous team. They were always in control, you felt like. And they had some great opportunities on the counterattack. Adi headed it off the post, right? And then it went back into Clark, and he almost put it into his own net. That was pretty late on.
Yeah, in the 71st minute.
Yeah, there was the other chance that went off Parkhurst's hand on the goal line. So, I mean, they had opportunity. There's the other one. Remember when Lucas Milano cut in and just absolutely bottled it?
Yeah. Speaking of Milano, I mean, we saw Asprilla actually play pretty well against FC Dallas in that second leg, but Caleb Porter made the right decision starting Milano over. I mean, he was part of the second goal.
Yeah, well, the first leg too. Remember, he had that amazing shot. Asprilla did.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Milano. He scored the last goal, the clincher for Portland against FC Dallas. Remember that, where he dribbled around the whole defense. But like I said, I think maybe Milano was more committed to covering Waylon Francis, more committed to a defense whose defensive responsibilities to cutting the passing lanes and would stay in his position, and I think that's maybe why Porter chose to play Milano. I mean, that's what I could gather, because like you said, Asprilla played very well, and their depth is just ridiculous. I mean, you have players like Asprilla and Urruti coming off the bench, and then maybe Paparazzo in defense. I mean, that's crazy. Obviously, I mean, we're not going to talk about it today, but Urruti is out of contract. He was I believe his option wasn't picked up by Portland, so he won't be there next year, but he's a good MLS striker, and I think he can succeed with the team. And to have these guys off the bench is just such a privilege, really, for Porter. And they have done a great job building a team that's not only good on the field, that's not only technically good with players like Nagbe, Valeri, and a player like Adi who can hold a play, but a deep team and a team that's willing to buy into Caleb Porter's system, which I think we've seen develop over the last 3 years, and he's really become one of the elite coaches in MLS, you have to say. And I'm just excited to see what he can do, what Porter can do with this team going forward. Remember, Portland started out the season a lot like last year. They started off playing not very well. Diego Valeri was injured. Will Johnson. Well, I didn't even mention Will Johnson. He didn't even get into this match, I don't think. No. So I mean, they have all these players, but yeah, I mean, it's just such a good team, and this is why they were the team. If once LA lost, you felt like Portland was the team that was going to get to the finals. I thought, yeah.
I wasn't sure before the first leg, but I thought Portland would come out and do what they had to do in the second leg
against Dallas, right?
Yeah.
I mean, just like I've been saying, like I've been reiterating, credit to Portland Timbers. They did a fantastic job. They had a game plan. They executed it almost perfectly, with exception to the one mistake from Quaresay, and they defended very well. They counterattacked very well. Maybe could have had 3 or 4 goals in this. So, obviously that play call, or the out of bounds call was horrible, and it definitely affected the match. And, it might have been a completely different match, but one shot on target's unacceptable. I don't know. Columbus just didn't come out to play, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But the atmosphere was amazing.
Yeah, it was insane. Full house. It was great. I mean,
I honestly, I think the last time I was at Crew Stadium and there was anything even close to that was the U.S.-Mexico game. And I mean, even then it was a little bit different because there was such a big Portland Timber contingency at this match. So, I mean, that was cool to see. There weren't very many Mexico fans. I mean, that being said, I think by far USA-Mexico was the best sporting event I've ever been to in my life. But, I mean, it's just Columbus did a great job. They did a great job promoting it, promoting the Cup, too. Everywhere I went around the city, there was ads. People were really getting excited on Ohio State's campus. I saw Columbus Crew hats and scarves and Glory to Columbus shirts, which were pretty cool to see. Unfortunately, they weren't able to get it done for the city. So Columbus, as a city, still has only one professional championship, and that's the Crew in 2008.
Yeah, I won't get a chance until that 2016 season, which we're all looking forward to.
Well, the Blue Jackets, maybe.
Oh, yeah. Okay, fine. The Crew won't get a chance. But before we move past this game, I just wanted to talk a little bit about, from an outsider's point of view, how this didn't really bode well for MLS. Because, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people are watching this as their only MLS game they've watched or they're going to watch all season. And if you see bad refereeing, bottles being thrown, it kind of turns you away, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right about that. I don't think it was the best. It wasn't best for the league, especially it was two small market teams too. I think if it were in Portland, it might have been a little bit different too for people to see that atmosphere. But I think also for people to see this atmosphere, to see a town like Columbus with a full stadium, is something that's good for the league. To see an exciting match like this, despite the bad referee calls, besides all the extra stuff, that might be something that turns you on to the league. It's exciting. But yeah, if you have a system where there's one off or two, a series of two, you're gonna have games like this. We see it at the World Cup. We see it in MLS playoffs. We see it in cup matches. Teams, it's ugly soccer, it's chippy soccer. We even see it in the NFL. I mean, teams like the Giants, they don't play pretty football, but they get it done in December and January. That's what it lends itself to. If this is the only match you're gonna see, you're not gonna see how well Portland and FC Dallas played against each other in that first leg, or how well the Red Bulls played throughout the season, and how beautiful their soccer was. And even at times, the Crew this season played some very, very pretty soccer, and they're capable of it. But it just comes with the territory of it being a one-off match, And I think hopefully that's something that informed football fans understand, right? Obviously, they're always going to be predisposed to think of MLS as a lower league, because obviously we're not there yet. We're 20 years young. It's widely considered a retirement league. We know we as fans and as avid MLS fans know how exciting this league is and how far we've come. But you're right. I mean, it wasn't a pretty performance. And even in the U.S., for the maybe casual soccer fan, or a fan who's only interested in European soccer, maybe it wasn't the best showing. I mean, you have the numbers. What was the percentage drop off in viewership?
Yeah. So 50% more people watched last year's MLS Cup final between LA Galaxy and New England Revolution. Yeah, and I think that's a product of. It's really a product of the teams that were there, Portland and Columbus, two small market teams. Last year with LA, you had Landon Donovan's last year. You had players like Robbie Keane. New England, obviously, is a pretty big market. Boston's a soccer town. So, I mean, that's really it. I don't think that's any indication that soccer and MLS aren't growing, because they clearly are. We see it every day. We see it every year. It's just the teams, It's like when the Astros and Royals play. I mean, half the people don't care, A Lakers Celtics finals is going to get much more viewership than anything else, right? I mean, that's how it is. 50% is staggering, though. That's a pretty big number. In just 1 year, yeah.
Yeah. But it really has to do with the teams. And MLS not only has a problem with getting, people who only like European soccer, outside people, people from outside the country to watch the sport. it's also gaining that neutral fan. There's not very many neutral fans in the league. There's people who are fans of their teams and don't watch other MLS, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty common. You and I, we watch pretty much everything in MLS. We watch MLS as much as we can. We started watching MLS before we really developed a connection with the crew. Because we're always holding out hope for a Wisconsin team, right?
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see if that happens, what happens to our fandom.
Yeah, I hope... How many teams do you want in MLS?
Well, there's talks of expanding to 28. Did you see that?
Yeah. I saw 28.
It's just such a big country. I think it would be cool. I really like the idea of maybe having just two separate conferences and having them not play each other at all until the finals.
Yeah.
If you go up to that.
The only disappointing part of that is there are probably more soccer-specific stadiums, so we won't get to see that many games in Columbus for the U.S. national team.
Well, there'll always be U.S.-Mexico here. They'll always have in the first round of the Hex for the U.S. They'll probably always have a match here. They don't really have any friendlies here anyway.
Yeah, sure.
So, March 29th, though, the U.S. is coming to Columbus. So, to play Guatemala.
We should go to that game.
We are.
We are?
Yeah. I'm going to try to get media credentials. I'm going to apply. It might be too late. I have to look into that.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, that'd be awesome, though.
Yeah, it would be.
So congratulations to the Timbers. It was an exciting MLS season, and before I was kind of... this is a season for me personally where I just really started to enjoy watching MLS. Before it was just, I wanted to watch... If you want American soccer to grow, you have to watch MLS. But now I've just realized that it really is just as exciting as some of Europe's top league.
Yeah, and it is, and in some ways it's more exciting. It's not. That's not to say it's as technically sound. The tactics aren't the best. The defending is not that great. That doesn't take away from its entertainment value. And if you're going into it expecting to see Barcelona and Real Madrid play, then what are you doing? You don't watch Bournemouth versus Sunderland. And expect to see the same type of quality you see in Manchester City versus Arsenal, right? And even then, those matches can be pretty bad. They can be pretty ugly, especially if Manchester United is involved.
Actually, yeah. So sometimes the Champions League, especially in the second legs, of ties, can be very park the bussy and.
Yeah, but that's what I said. That's the format, right? If you watch MLS regular season, the soccer is completely different, especially since really the goal is to make the playoffs. So dropping points is something you're able to do. You have that leeway. So it's just different. It's different. I love watching it. I think it's so exciting. And you have to go into it with an open mind. You can't go into it trying to compare the quality of soccer to higher leagues. It's getting better, but it's just so... I think that's ridiculous. Right? The quality in Serie A is very, very high. But I enjoy watching MLS more, And that's not to say MLS is more exciting objectively. That's just my personal preference. And, I'm not gonna judge anyone, including you, Sahil, for liking Serie A more. It's great soccer to watch. It's tactically tactically it might be the best league in the world. Don't you think so? I would say so.
Yeah,
they know.
Yeah, well, not Roma actually. No. Honestly, I just think. No, because honestly, I feel like let me think of a good example. Inter Milan could go up against. What was the score again that we had against Barcelona? 6-1.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like even Sampdoria or Atalanta, some mid-table team, could only lose 2-0 or 3-0 because of how defensively organized.
They know how to defend.
Yeah. But Roma is just Rudy Garcia is a terrible manager. So.
Yeah, we won't get into that. We'll get into that later.
Yeah. We're going to have a lot more time to talk about European soccer now.
MLS ending. It's so sad.
But we'll also get to see if it's anywhere as exciting as last year's January transfer window, then there'll be a lot going on this January 2016 for MLS too.
Carlos Vela?
Hopefully.
Question mark? We'll see.
Dude, bring all the Mexicans to MLS.
Well, I wish you got. How well is Chicharito playing? He was named Bundesliga Player of the Month.
Yeah, he's
on
fantastic.
fire.
You used to say Josie was better. You honestly said that like at least a year ago.
Okay. Chicharito is in a place where he's succeeding. I just think at one point, maybe it's because he wasn't playing for Manchester United that much. I mean, there's just chances he was just missing, like, straight up.
Yeah.
There was that one year where Chicharito didn't score any, and Josie scored like 30. Obviously, it's in a lower league, but, you know.
I feel like Chicharito, you're right. He is dependent kind of on the environment that he's in.
Yeah.
So if he was playing in a Sunderland environment,
so is
I don't know how he would do. Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Chicharito's a better player. I mean, there's no question.
Yeah, definitely. Technically, speed, everything. Well, not strength, but, I mean, yeah.
Everyone overrates Josie's strength.
What do you mean? That's his hold-up play.
Okay.
All right.
He's 1 inch taller than Aaron Johansson.
Why don't we move to the league that I now know you despise?
Okay.
Serie A.
Wait, did you say the league I despise?
Yeah, sorry, I don't want to bore you too much with details. We'll skim by this really quickly.
That's not what I was saying.
So Lazio lost 0-2 to Juventus at home. Paulo Dybala, man, what? Incredible.
7 goals on the season. Where was he at last year again?
Palermo.
Yeah, Palermo. I mean, we all knew he was going to be great, but he had an absolute cracker of a shot. I mean, he brought it up, and then he just volleyed it. He brought it up by himself from what, 30, 35 yards out? I mean, that was incredible.
Yeah.
They ended up winning 2-0.
Marchetti had no chance.
Yeah, the first goal was an own goal by Santiago Gentiletti in the 7th minute, which was just woeful. He literally
that looked like a poach. Like that was like
it was a great finish. he just put it into the tie.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it was on like the top of the net. It was on like the upper like part.
What was he trying to do? Put it over the bar? I mean, he was blocked off a little bit. His sight line. Yeah, I mean, still, it was kind of bad.
Yeah, I think he also had Mandzukic right there near with him.
Yeah.
So he was trying to get it out, but...
Well, Juventus, after that terrible start, they're in 5th place now. They're only 6 points off of Inter Milan for 1st place, only 1 point behind Roma for 4th. So it's good. I mean, right now, Serie A, in terms of who's going to be the champion, who's going to win the Scudetto, is probably the most interesting in the big European leagues.
Yeah, I would say don't rule out Fiorentina. At first,
who's ruling out?
At the beginning, I was. Well, I mean, just based on talent. I think I can't remember his name right now, but the Basel manager came over the summer from Basel, and then to Fiorentina, and with Paulo Sousa. Yeah, and he's done an excellent job with the talent that he's had. Oh wow, yeah. Exciting to watch.
I mean, they've scored 30 goals and conceded 12 this season. I mean, that's great. Inter Milan are in 1st place right now with 33 points. They've scored 18 goals. That's it. In 15 matches, but they've only allowed 9. That's insane.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, Roma have scored 30 but given up 18. Roma are just a mess. They need to move on from Rudy Garcia.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying that the next match, which is going to be on Wednesday against Bate Borisov in the Champions League, will determine whether he stays, or at least if he loses, he will be gone. Which, I
think
it's about time. I think
one thing to be really excited about is just Miralem Pjanic's form this year, though. 7 goals and 5 assists in 15 Serie A matches from central midfield. I mean, that's great.
It's crazy. I saw a statistic on Twitter. I think out of any player in Europe's top 5 leagues, he's been directly related to the most percentage of a team's goals.
Yeah. Well, that's 12 out of the 30 Roma have scored already, and that's only goals and assists, right? That doesn't. Yeah. He's probably involved in much more of the goals. So, I mean, he's tied for 1st in assists, and he's tied for 4th in goals. That's crazy.
It's too bad we won't see him in the Euros, though.
Yeah. We talked about that.
Yeah. All right, why don't we move over to Germany? A lot happened in Germany over the weekend, but we're going to talk about Wolfsburg losing at home to Dortmund 1-2.
Crazy match.
Yeah, crazy match. Why don't you go into it?
Well, early on in the match, Dortmund took the 1-0 lead. Marco Reus rounds the goalkeeper and scores a goal off of a terrible, terrible giveaway from the Wolfsburg central midfielder, Gila Vogi, I think is how you pronounce it. He's a defensive midfielder. He just gives Mkhitaryan, takes the ball off him in his own third and pushes it forward all in one touch to Royce. He's credited with the assist, Mkhitaryan is, and Royce is able to round Benaglio and score. Nice goal. Then, very, very late in the match, in the 90th minute, Andreas Schürrle, who's interestingly enough playing behind the striker now, and Julian Draxler is playing out wide for Wolfsburg. I think that's just interesting. Schürrle is taken down controversially between Subotic and Piszczek. Wolfsburg are awarded the penalty. Rodriguez slots it home. This is all at home for Wolfsburg, by the way. And then, straight down the field, in the 93rd minute, Kagawa is able to score a nice finish, a nice tap-in. It's not really a tap-in, it was a nice finish off of a nice cross from Mkhitaryan, his second assist of the match, to take the 3 points.
Even before that, Piszczek's ball over the defense.
Yeah. Sorry, I should have mentioned that. Yeah. So now Dortmund are in second place, only 5 points behind Bayern. Bayern dropped points against Borussia Dortmund this weekend. They lost 3-1. And they were never really in that match. Ribéry scores a late goal. Not Fabian Johnson. The team is not Fabian Johnson. Borussia Mönchengladbach were up 3-0. So.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the table, Dortmund only 5 points off first. But in my eyes, really, they're closer to third place than first, just because it's Bayern Munich.
Well, I think Dortmund is securely in second place. I don't think anyone's catching them.
I don't think so. I mean, none of those teams are really as consistent as Dortmund will be.
Bayern Munich, 43 goals scored and 8 goals conceded. That's insane.
And that's just after a 3-1 loss.
Yeah, that's their first loss of the season. And then in third and fourth place, American 1 and American 2, Mönchengladbach, are in third, and Hertha Berlin, John Brooks, are in fourth. So
both scored goals over the weekend.
We could see 2 Americans in the Champions League from the Bundesliga next year.
Think that will happen though? That would mean Wolfsburg misses out, Schalke misses out, Leverkusen misses out.
I mean, it's possible. What makes it not possible? And the crazy thing is, Ingolstadt, who are in 11th place, that's where Alfredo Morales plays. They're only 6 points off third place. I mean, that's not very far off. The difference between third and 11th place is 6 points. And that's really why Dortmund and Bayern Munich have been able to separate themselves. I mean, below that, everyone is beating each other. Mönchengladbach lost 5 in a row to start the season. And now they're in third place.
Now in third place, yeah.
So...
yeah, it'll be exciting to see what happens with Champions League and Europa League spots there.
Yeah.
All right, why don't we move over into the news that the U.S. women's national team actually canceled their next friendly due to turf conditions.
Well, it's not their next friendly. It was supposed to happen yesterday or the day before. Yeah, due to turf conditions in Aloha Stadium in Hawaii, which is actually in FIFA. Did you know that? It's actually in FIFA, the video game.
Why?
I don't know.
That's where they play the Pro Bowl, right?
Yeah, that was the only American stadium before CenturyLink Field this year in the game. But, yeah, the field conditions were terrible. You could see pictures of it. I mean, first of all, turf in general is just terrible for soccer. And MLS needs to get rid of it. And, I mean, the women's game, FIFA and CONCACAF, they don't care. U.S. Soccer failed to vet the field, to vet the turf, which is essential. And it's just a shame that it has to come to this. The fact that the World Cup this year was played on turf is an absolute disgrace. I mean, It's just unfortunate. I wanted to touch on it, just to talk about. They deserve better. They really do. From U.S. Soccer, from CONCACAF, from FIFA.
I agree.
All right.
Yeah, why don't we move on to our next segment, which is my brother's top 5 Americans abroad. Who do you have for us today?
All right. Before I get started, it was a great weekend, I think, for Americans abroad. Sahil, if you disagree, feel free to say something. This is not. I could be wrong. It's a subjective list. All right, let's start at number 5. DeAndre Yedlin started and played 90 minutes in Sunderland's 3-1 loss versus Arsenal. Unfortunately, he did pick up a yellow card in the 80th minute, but he had a goal line clearance off of a Giroud header, which was pretty good. They did lose. Also, he got absolutely destroyed by Ozil in a vine that went viral. I don't know if you saw that. But it's a great learning experience for him. Great to see that he started in a match against a very good team, playing in that right back / wing back position. So it's good. I'm just glad that he's playing, and it's good for him to start in such a big match and play the whole match.
And you want to see him in that fullback role for the national team. So.
Yes, I do. I've talked about that many times. He's got to play there. Eric Lehigh, number 4, the Nottingham Forest fullback, started and played 90 minutes in this match and had a game-winning assist in the early on in a 3-0 win versus Fulham. So, game-winning assist meaning he assisted the first goal. It was actually a bicycle kick across the face of goal that was headed in. It was pretty spectacular. Sahil, you got to go check that out after we stop recording. Absolutely fantastic. Number 3, Jeff Cameron started and played 90 minutes for Stoke City in a huge win, 2-0 win versus Manchester City. Great win for them. Stoke City are, of course, in the Capital One Cup semifinals. They'll be playing Liverpool in January. My Everton will be playing Manchester City in January. So, exciting times for Jeff Cameron. And Sahil, you know what's interesting about this? Jeff Cameron played in defensive midfield, and by all accounts was great. And think about that, in defensive midfield against the likes of Sterling and De Bruyne. I think that's exciting to see him play there, and I think he might be the defensive midfielder we're looking for. And you can play maybe John Brooks and Matt Beasler, or Matt Miazga and Matt Beasler, and move Jeff Cameron to defensive midfield. I'd be really excited to see something like that. Yeah,
definitely opens up the options.
Well, I mean, he was so good there, and it seems like he has a good rapport with Michael Bradley. All right, number 2. I think this is where you disagree with me. John Brooks for Hertha Berlin started and played 90 minutes and scored a game-winning goal in the 60th minute for Hertha Berlin in a 2-1 victory over Bayer Leverkusen, a huge match that propelled them into 3rd place. John Brooks, a thunderous header off the corner, kind of reminiscent of the Ghana one, but just even more powerful. Great header. Great to see him firmly cement himself back in the starting lineup. Very, very exciting. And then number 1, the man in form, Fabian Johnson, 4 goals in 10 days, a brace last week and a goal in Champions League a few days before. He scored a goal, played 90 minutes, and started in a massive win against Bayern Munich, 3-1, to stay in 3rd place, to keep Borussia Mönchengladbach in 3rd place. I mean, he's been in such great form. I got his inform card on FIFA. It's fun to use.
I hope we can see another goal from him in the Champions League this week.
Yeah, that'd be great. I hope we can utilize his talent. I hope I hope Jurgen can actually do something with him.
You know what? He could be a world-renowned winger by March.
Yeah, maybe he's on his way to Barcelona.
Yeah, I mean, wasn't he already linked there when he played fullback?
Yeah, as a fullback. I mean, I think he could move to, like, Dortmund, or maybe, like, an Arsenal.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool.
I mean, it's a bit quick right now, but...
He's 27. Remember, this guy was on the U21 German European Champions, and I think they won the German European Championship, and they might have won an Under-20 World Cup. I can't remember which one it was. But that team with, like, Sami Khedira and just a lot of great players. I mean, he's always been a great player. That's why a few years ago, Jurgen Klinsmann said he's the best fullback in the Bundesliga.
And look at what Jurgen's doing now, throwing him under the bus after games.
Well, okay, he brought him back in, though. He brought him back in.
Yeah.
We got to utilize his talent. He's our best player right now. But John Brooks should be a starter too, I think.
Well,
and what? You don't think so?
I mean, I don't know. It's always weird because we see, every other month John Brooks loses his starting job and then gains it back.
Yeah, but okay, as of right now, he's playing really well, and we have 3 Americans in the Bundesliga consistently playing 90 minutes now for the last few weeks. These 2, Brooks and Johnson, and Alfredo Morales. But Alfredo Morales hasn't been in the national team really since they got promoted. I don't understand the logic. Jurgen's like, well, they have to challenge themselves and go to Europe. Well, he's a 24-year-old midfielder, 25-year-old midfielder who's playing well for Ingolstadt in the Bundesliga, and he didn't even get a call up. I just don't get it.
Maybe we want to keep Bobby Wood in the second division.
Yeah, maybe we do want to keep Bobby Wood in the second division.
I don't. It would be crazy if we saw Fabian score against Manchester City on Wednesday and in Bayern Munich within the span of days. I mean, I know that's a high hope, but I mean, he could. He's in form. He's in form. Unfortunately, Borussia Mönchengladbach are eliminated. So that kind of sucks from advancing in the Champions League. Yeah, they can. They can still fight for that Europa League.
So but for the third place spot.
Yeah,
that's true. It'll be interesting to see what they do if they go with if Fabian Johnson even plays. Maybe give him a rest because you have to imagine. And the reason, I know you might have disagreed, I know it was a huge goal for John Brooks, but Fabian Johnson the reason I put him first is because they're in first place. They beat Bayern Munich, and if they didn't win that match, they would probably be out of the top 4. So,
well, I mean, yeah,
I guess it's the same thing.
Yeah, Hertha Berlin, yeah, and they also caused Leverkusen more of a pain than Bayern Munich. I don't know if that means anything.
John Brooks was very good.
Yeah.
So, it was really a toss-up. It's 1A and 1B. I just think because...
it's just Fabian Johnson's part of a 3-goal match. I mean, they might have won anyway.
Yeah, but he's been in form.
Right. I understand. Put the goal scorer. You're just like every other analyst.
Dude, they both scored goals.
yeah, I know, but he's the attacker.
Well, okay, so...
I just think that maybe we should both have our own list. No. I would rather just be a critique of yours.
Okay. So, actually, no, that's a good idea.
What, both of us?
Yeah.
And then, compare it? Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah.
I think we can come up with ideas, on the show while we're recording a lot.
Yeah, well, okay. Yeah, that's true. We do that a lot.
Are you researching something over there?
Yeah, I was going to look up his stats. John
I know. I'm not discounting. I thought you were doing this on a week by week basis. I mean,
okay, wow. John, I don't know why I didn't see this earlier. John Brooks had 13 successful switches of the field and 11 connections into the attacking half.
So I was telling you, he had a great game. Yeah, besides just the goal.
All right, you know what? Fine.
Last minute switch.
Either way, I mean, they're both. It's great to see. It's great that we've been having this conversation. A month ago, it was hard to even find 5 players who were playing in Europe.
Yeah.
Or abroad. I mean, Ventura Alvarado played 90 minutes in the Liga MX semifinals, actually, but they ended up losing. They won the match, but they lost the overall tie. So, I was kind of conflicted.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of different jerseys that American fans can be excited about and buying because of how well they're playing in Europe. But don't forget about your Ambitious Strike t-shirts because they're probably more comfortable than those and represent the game of soccer in the U.S. So check out AmbitiousStrike.com to get a bunch of soccer-related merchandise. They're a great company. They sell women's tank tops, t-shirts, just plenty of stuff. It's a great designed website. And if you want to get 15% off on your entire purchase, then enter the code BROTHERS at checkout.
Yeah, they're a great website. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Their whole mission is to be like a Hollister or a Hurley, companies that started off as surfer and skater companies respectively, and then, became a casual wear. And that's what they want to do, because these clothes aren't just for soccer fans. So that's why they're a great gift for friends and family who aren't necessarily soccer fans. They're just comfortable, great-looking T-shirts. So go check them out, ambitiousstryk.com, AMBITIOUSSTRYK.com. The link, as always, is in the description.
All right. We have nothing else scheduled for this episode. Before we go, though, I just want to ask you, Olympiacos in Greece versus Arsenal. What's the result going to be? Arsenal needs a win, right?
Putting me on the spot there. Yeah. I think Olympiacos is going to get the win, 2-1.
I think they're going to draw, actually, but Olympiacos is going to advance, and Arsenal will go to the Europa League.
You think so? Well, Arsenal's a good team.
But you said Olympiacos would win.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm saying you think they'll lose?
No, I said I think they'll tie.
Oh, you think they'll tie?
Yeah. Yeah, I think Arsenal will go to the
I think Arsenal. If Arsenal wins, do they go through on head-to-head?
Yeah, I think it's a bit more complicated than that.
Okay.
I think that they can't win by just any margin.
Oh, they have to win by a certain margin.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and if they don't win 1-0, then they have to win 3-1 or something like that. I just wanted to ask you if it was going to be a win, draw, or a loss, but
Well, the first time Olympiacos beat Arsenal 3-2. So doesn't on the road. I don't know. Champions League tiebreakers are confusing to me.
Yeah, head-to-head overrules.
We'll recap the match.
Cool.
I have finals coming up this week, guys. I am a college student. Sahil also has finals in high school. So we might not have another episode until maybe after then. Maybe next Wednesday or Thursday. We'll try, though. Yeah, MLS playoffs are over, so I guess there's... We can talk about the Champions League and the big European matches. But we should have one, especially before we go on vacation. Yeah, well, I think we're going to bring our stuff to vacation, too. To Phoenix. Yeah, maybe we'll have a special interview. Yeah. Maybe a couple. Maybe we'll get Michael on, too. Yeah, I'll text them. I don't know why I'm talking about this on the show. Yeah. You know what? Someone left a review for our podcast that it feels like you're talking right there with them, and it's casual, so... Yeah, I think it's something unique. We're two regular guys. Well, yeah. Well, we also know a lot, so... Well, yeah, I'm not saying... I'm just saying, if you miss a weekend of soccer, then don't even worry about watching TV or anything. Just listen to this for the rundown, and you'll be good, and you can impress all your friends. Yeah, and if you're new to soccer, we're great because we're not super technical. I think we do a good job of explaining everything. And, yeah. All right, so we'll stop tooting our own horns. I don't know. That was kind of weird. I don't know why we did that. But all right. No more MLS, man. No, don't mean to advertise more, but we have an email for this podcast. It's SoccerBrothersPodcast@gmail.com. We also have a Twitter. That's at SoccerBrosPod. My brother's a Twitter at BigTimeBrownie. My Twitter's at ASR_Sahil. Make sure to follow us or like if you're on SoundCloud, or review or rate if you're on iTunes. Or Google Play. Don't forget our Google Players. As always, all the information is in the description, so... if you're looking for our Twitters, you can find it there. The description is there on iTunes, too, so you don't have to go to SoundCloud to see our description. So, yeah. See you next time. Are you disappointed, Sahil, that it's over? MLS? Yeah. Disappointed. I knew it was going to end. Well, yeah, but I don't know. It's just kind of sad. I'm not going to miss it, but it's going to be a lot less... hectic for us, I think, on the bright side. Yeah, that's true. Shorter episodes, probably. Okay. Yeah, way shorter. All right, we'll see you. Yep, we'll see you guys later. Thanks for listening, guys.